Yes, Alex?
Let me tell you about Man.
I've swapped complete failure as a Kickstarter.
Star Fox Command is the first game that you get to be Anthony Birch.
The first of many fuck yous. Like a fucking Looney Tunes? Suck.
The only stipulation was behave yourself and keep your dick in your pants, and you have not followed through on that.
Hey, Alex.
Yes, Tad?
Let me tell you about Icon's Battle Arena. Now, Alex, as you can tell from my body odor, I love Smash Bros. And you can tell from my variety of silly hats that I also love Team Fortress 2. Now, what do these games have in common? Smash Bros. Is a lot like Team Fortress. They both have a colorless class of characters, a variety of hats, and both games were not designed for serious competitive play. Smash Bros. And Team Fortress 2 both have a minority of hardcore serious players. People who love the game so much that they want to play it at the highest level. And that's great. I'm glad people I'm glad someone likes this game enough that they put in the hundreds of hours of work into it. However, in this group of players, you'll also find a decent amount of people who are very vocal that the game should be forced to focus on and be balanced around their playstyle and not the dev's original intention.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go real quick into Team Fortress 2. We're going to bury the lead here a bit. So Team Fortress 2 is designed around rock, paper, scissors. Heavy beats NG. NG beats Scout. Scout beats Heavy. And having a 12v12 fuckhouse of a server. The game was made knowing you would have people on your team who are total fucking dead weight and not contributing at all. That's fine. You can have a friendly Hoovie and a Market Gardener soldier and a fucking demo night on your team. It's 12v12. You don't need everyone contributing because it only takes 1 to 3 people to actually win the game. Some classes like Soldier and Scout are able to take flake routes without worry because there's not a ton of people everywhere.
Yeah, you won't just come across some random pyro who just happened to be there for no fucking reason.
Yeah, and classes that rely on chaos, like the Pyro and Spy, are useless because it's 6v6. There's not twice the amount of people. You can immediately tell if there's a spy amongst you, if it's yourself and 5 other people. Mm-hmm. Also because there's only there's a pretty strict class, adherence. And the Team Fortress 2 competitive community adheres to this 6v6 formula and bans most weapons in the game that aren't conducive to this type of gameplay. Because it either grinds the game to a halt, or they're way too fucking powerful with only 6 opponents. Now, Valve never really supported competitive Team Fortress 2 until that really, really bad Meet Your Match update. They played around with it in the Team Fortress 2 beta, but then they never really gave a shit. Valve ignored them for the most part. And some people in the TF2 competitive scene felt like they were being ignored because they put in all this time and work into building their own competitive scene with websites like TF2 Center. Because before, the way you queued up for competitive TF2 is you went on a website and then queued up in your skill bracket with other people, and then it took you to a server. So you had all these community organized events and shit, and they have this kind of chip on their shoulder. Because, we care about all this, but they don't give they won't balance, this fucking item is totally busted at 6v6. They won't balance it for that. This is horse shit. You get this animosity. And it's super, super present in the Smash Bros. Community, specifically Melee.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to see a comparison already, because I'm familiar with both of these types of people.
Yeah, there's a large portion of the player base for competitive Smash that feel like they're fucking entitled to Sakurai making the next Smash a competitive game like Melee, missing the fact that Melee was only made competitive because people took that fucking square peg and just rammed it into the round hole until it eventually fit. Melee is the only Smash Bros. Game that kind of fits alongside Street Fighter, Marvel, Tekken, and actual fighting games, but not because it's designed to be a fighting game. It's because people have broken it down so hard that it becomes it's the technical skill required now is on par with normal fighting games, and in some cases a lot higher. Like Dragon Ball FighterZ isn't a super complicated game. it's easier to play that than it is to play Melee.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I appreciate the time and effort it takes to get to the level of people like Hungrybox and Mewtwo King, but I'll be honest, watching Melee is fucking lame, dude. It looks really fucking lame. It's characters jittering around left and right and fishing out an air neutral, and it takes goddamn forever. I understand that there's Rain Man level shit going on. So there's a lot of stuff that's also holding Melee back. Melee tournaments require a CRT TV because it's on a fucking GameCube, which uses those red, white, and yellow cables. And that's not, that's not insurmountable. If you're a big tournament, you're probably going to have a CRT TV for some of those older fighting games, right? Like a PS2 fighting game and shit. But at the highest levels, you also need a GameCube controller that is properly malfunctioning.
Yep, I know about this.
The reason you have to have it is that at the highest levels, the competitive shit that goes on comes down to execution and timing. It's so incredibly precise that if you don't have a controller that lets you do this thing, you're going to be at a severe disadvantage. The other issue is that the game is so old at this point that there's not when was the last time you saw anyone that you knew who was like, oh, you know what? I want to play Smash Bros. I'm going to pick up Melee and, try to learn the competitive scene here. The same handful of players that are placed in the top brackets in the big tournaments are the same handful of players that have been there for years.
Yeah, they actually have a name for those guys, the Five Gods of Melee.
I understand and I can appreciate Melee. I get it. I'm too small brain for it.
Tad,
I've got a weak-willed mind.
It's not a game, Tad. It's drama. It's theater.
Shut up.
I'm just quoting that one random fucking video.
So, a bunch of these people who are big into Melee were super butthurt when Brawl came out because Brawl went the complete opposite way. Because remember, Alex, there was a time where the only Smash Brothers games were the N64 and the GameCube one. We didn't have Brawl. We didn't, as far as we knew, it was going to continue in the Melee style and get to be a serious fucking fighting game. Because 64 to Melee was such a huge fucking jump.
Mm-hmm.
All the mechanics got way more complicated, all this. And then that didn't happen. So back in 2011, Project M came out. And this was when Super Smash Bros. Brawl had a pretty active modding scene. Because it was part of a glitch where all you had to do was just slot a fucking SD card into a Wii. The Wii didn't even have to be modded. You could do this right now on a Wii that you get from GameStop. You put an SD card, you load a stage, it crashes, it resets the game, and then you just play Project M. And it was this huge, honestly, I can't think of a mod that was more in-depth. Even Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike was a whole new fucking game because it was a mod of Half-Life. And even Counter-Strike wasn't as big of a mod as Project M. Project M is basically a Smash Bros. Game. The whole point was to rebalance the characters and make it as close to Melee as they could get. And it's good. All of the characters aren't super technical because they understand that Smash Bros. Is a video game and you don't need to make Pichu and Young Link super technically complicated. You could still play a normal ass game. And it was super cool. Project M had a lot of tournaments. This was around 2011. This is when it came out, and it was huge. It was really, really cool. But Super Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS they started the promos for that in 2014, 2015, I think. That was when they first showed off the new Smash Bros. Game. And Nintendo said, for any tournament organizer, if you have a mod, if you have Project M on your roster, we will not sponsor you because we're trying to promote our new Smash Brothers game. And that fucking almost instantly killed Project M.
What a shame.
And when I was doing some of the research for this video, or this, I guess video, it's on YouTube and podcast, I watched a bunch of videos from 2015, 2016. Because 2015, the Project M dev group disbanded. to avoid any kind of, they said it was for any C&D or legal backlash. But there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that are saying like, yeah, Project M is so good. It's so great. You know, it's only going to die if the community lets it. And the community let it die.
I'm surprised though that like how done was it?
It was 100% done.
See, what I was trying to figure out was like, why would it die though if it was super duper close to Melee and it was basically Melee 2 with like new characters and shit? And like, I figured not updating anymore wouldn't be a problem because they've been playing fucking Melee for like over a decade now, right?
The problem was the competitive level that people play Melee at is like serious business.
Mm-hmm.
If you are taking time, so say you're real good, you like to go to these tournaments, you can't be practicing Project M, because if you're doing that, you're not practicing Melee, and Melee is the one that actually has the tournament that has the prize pool at the end. So why, outside of just playing Project M for fun, there's no point. You can't play it at a competitive level. As good as it was and how much work they put in there, So what happened was Project M disbanded, and I couldn't get an exact count on how many people. I saw 2 as like the number that was floated around, but no source for it. And I didn't want to like go in and compare names and be creepy about it because I'd have to like dig through forum posts and shit. But a few people from Project M went over and formed their own company, Wave Dash Studios.
And this is where the title actually comes into play in this video.
Yeah, 14 minutes in. So, Alex, what is Icons?
Icons Combat Arena is the Melee killer. After an excruciating wait, Icons has been released on Steam to rave reviews. Its ravenous, ever-growing fanbase is currently experiencing unprecedented meteoric rise. As we speak, there are hundreds of people currently playing this recently released, heavily advertised, free-to-play game during a weekend. Why is it so popular? I'm glad you asked. Have you ever wanted to play a game with just Fox, Falcon, and Ganon? That was rhetorical. Of course you do. Wave Dash Games eschews the bloated cast of modern fighting games to bring you a tailored, intimate experience that only Icons can give. If you wanted to expand upon the 3 starters, however, Wave Dash, of course, gives you options. One thing this game is all about: options, meaningful player choices. Icons allows you to choose from a variety of cosmetic items to fully customize your account in your own personal way. These avatars of individuality come to you in the form of loot boxes, the popular microtransaction avenue of today. Even if you don't pick up a new character, you'll surely win a new skin, emote, or even a spray. It's like Las Vegas, but you win every time you play. Not to mention the staggering amount of work that went into polishing the game, from the jaw-dropping graphics, to the fluid artistic animations, to the can't-get-out-of-my-head music. Nintendo just can't compete. Why suffer through the withered graphics of 2001 when you can experience all the technology 2018 has to offer with Icons? There's simply no use resisting. Melee has already been put in its grave. Now it's just a matter of seeing how long your Stockholm Syndrome will keep you bound to a corpse. If any time you want to experience a real game, I'd be glad to see you in the combat arena. And when that happens, whether sooner or later, it'll be iconic. Loving kisses and multi-shines in Icon.
Icons fucking sucks.
Dude, that game blows chunks.
Now, okay. I like to give people the benefit of a doubt, but when we played this game, I felt for the first time in a very, very long time when I played a game, I said to Alex, this game is pathetic.
It's sad. So, we actually came into this after just playing a shitload of SlapCity, the objectively worse looking but better playing Smash Brothers game. Because I guess platform fighters are just all the rave right fucking now. So, when you first get into Icons, I'm sure you remember, Tad, the menus, the character customization, and the loading screen especially, look just like Overwatch.
The fucking UI in the menus, the only thing it's missing is the character that like loads in. with your like cosmetic bullshit on them. It doesn't have that. It just so it is free to play, and its free to play system is to only give you 3 characters, and then you have to spend like 1,000 gold points or whatever to unlock a new character.
Well, that's okay, bros, because they handed out 1,000 free fun bucks to everybody who plays, so you can actually buy one character of your choosing.
What a fucking steal. The thing that really made me go, oh my god, oh no, was when I was going through like the inventory, and I noticed, oh, this is 1-for-1 Overwatch.
Yep, same reaction from me.
And the sprays. There were chibi sprays and 8-bit sprays of each one of the characters. And they even had like the face thing with Overwatch where they have like the person's head, like the stylistic lines and shit.
Yeah. The portraits.
Everything that was a character. So a character was 1,000 points. And just going, because I didn't buy a fucking loot box, I'm just going to assume that the loot boxes work the same way as Overwatches, which means to get 1,000 points, you're going to have to play a lot of fucking matches with the 3 characters they've given you. And those 3 characters are like...
the Fox function, Falcon, and Ganon function.
Yeah, it's just those. They have a few other characters. There's an Ice Climbers, I think. There's like 2 characters. I just assume it's Ice Climbers. There's a Marth, which is like an Asian lady. And there was like an orange guy. I don't know. I think he was more... I think there was 2 original characters. There was the orange guy who had a shot that would bounce off of stuff. And then there was... which is probably useless in like Final Destination now I think about it. And then the other guy was like this other Asian person who had like a ranged grab who could pick you up. Everything about it felt bad. Okay, so we went to a match, and the loading screen was like trying to drop this super cool deepest lore on me.
Oh god.
Where it's like outside of the cryptospheres where they mine the essence for the blah 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 blah, trying to make it seem like this is some... It is by the numbers. This was a game that someone was in a office room and looking at the aspects that made Overwatch. So here's what I think happened. So what made me feel sad was that the people who made this, they didn't want to make a bad game. They wanted to make a Melee 2. But at some point, they ran... because this game was in development for a very long time, about 4 years. At some point, they must have run out of money. And then they had to go to some kind of publisher who's like, okay, put in all these things from Overwatch. Overwatch is very successful. Put these in here. We're not going to give you your money. And so they tried to push all this stuff that didn't work because I don't give a shit about your characters. And the thing that really like confuses me is, so you're given the opportunity to make your own Smash Bros. Game. Why did you just make clones of most of your cast? The only 2 characters that aren't clones are visually dull as fuck. And they don't have like... They don't have anything really unique about them. The reason why people like playing Smash Bros. Is because you get to play as those Nintendo characters.
I get to play as fucking Falcon and punch Peach right in the fucking face. That's funny.
Exactly. There's that, and then there's the fact that they can pull all of these different interesting movesets from their games. If this is your only game, you can't do that. Your characters are just going to be pretty bland. Because the number one most important thing in a fighting game, to get people to pay attention to it, is it has to look good. Gameplay is a close second, but it has to look good first. And this game, the characters, they're not bad. They hired a League of Legends character designer, like someone who did like some freelance work to help make the characters.
Well, here's the thing, Tad, if I may interject, I'm a little passionate now. I actually think it's worse than being bad, because they're so fucking bog standard and boring that they're almost invisible. Like you see icons on Steam, what does it look like? Oh, just some shit, who cares? It looks like literally everything else. You know what I mean?
It's got that like... It's got like this... I don't know if gritty is the right word.
No.
But it's got like a serious esports art style. So what I think they thought was going to happen is that everyone who was playing Melee is obviously going to come on over to Icons, right?
Obviously.
Because it's Melee too, and we've got a dev team that cares about the competitive scene. Now, there's a bit of a schism between Smash Bros. Players and the normal FGC. And that is, well, I mean, besides the fact that Smash Bros. Players don't fucking bathe, it's that people who play Smash Bros. Don't give a fuck about things that aren't Smash Bros. So I played Dragon Ball FighterZ, right? I watched CEO on Twitch, and I was like, oh, this is great. You want to know what else I watched when I was on Twitch? Tekken, Street Fighter V, and a little bit of that Blaze Blue game. Or wait, was it? There was some anime fighter.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag, right? Pretty good.
I don't know if it was at CEO. It probably was. But I watched these games, appreciated how these games played out, and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, like Tekken, I'd never play Tekken. I don't care about it. But I can appreciate, whoa, look at this dude doing his shit. That's actually pretty cool. Icons was made to try and be the game that a lot of Melee players insist Smash Bros. Should be. But because it's not Melee, they don't care. It doesn't have the, it's, because this has happened with before. There's been other types of things like this to try and push a more official, like, this is the future of a platform fighter, and they've never taken off. If you try and make a platform fighter that's serious, it's not going to work because you're basing it off of a game that's whole purpose was being goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And a game that does that really fucking well is SlapCity.
Yes, I actually wanted to talk about why Smash Brothers works, why Icons doesn't, and why SlapCity works even more so.
SlapCity, bitch.
Welcome to SlapCity, bitch. See, okay, so Tad, you know anything about ludosity games?
Literally never heard of them before someone bought me this fucking game.
Yeah, me neither. So they apparently make games. There's some indie studio that I actually have had a run-in before where I used to be in a Steam community group that, you know how we have like the little Steam emoticons, you know, basically beta Discord? There was one called Apafrog, which was this little like apathetic looking frog, and I fucking immediately bought it for like 10 cents and would just spam it everywhere because I fucking love it. Because it's me. It's literally me. But apparently it's from a game they made. It's called Ittle Dew, which is where that one character comes from in the game. So that's the only thing I know about this company, is that they really like the Apafrog. Outside of that, they made a bunch of games that no one in the world has ever played, but they decided to make a Smash Brothers type game, a platform fighter.
With this actually, so I did know a little bit post research about it. They were going to make it as the SlapCity. They had the skeleton for it as just a one-off mini game in like a Little Do 2, and then like, fuck it. And that was a very smart decision on their part.
Very smart indeed. But the reason it still works with this is like how you explained it. SlapCity's funny. Much like how Smash Brothers is, oh, I can play as fucking Ganondorf and punch Bowser in the dick. That's funny. I can play as casual businessman and fight a giant fish dude who fucking flexes to attack. That's funny. And it has the Smash Brothers appeal of these are a bunch of characters from games that exist from this company, and they all have movesets based on their games. That's super cool. It's funny, it's cool, and unlike, say, Icons, which is just a one-on-one fighter with the most boring stage selection ever because, you know, it's the competitively viable Melee stages, right? You got fun, stupid stages, just like how it's what Smash Brothers actually is, as opposed to what Icons is trying to be what Melee players think Smash Brothers is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's so much goofy stuff in SlapCity. Like, everything from characters having alternate costumes, even down to the characters themselves. So one of the characters is just a crystal that has, like, a hat and a rapier. And he has he has two alternate costumes. One of them's, like, got a Santa hat and a fairy wand. The other one's got a wizard hat. You've got the fucking...
Casual businessman.
You can do all this silly shit. If you go into the versus mode and you set the AI, like the AI even has goofy names for levels 1 through 9. If you keep mashing it, it'll turn into the hardest difficulty, which is just 3 fucking skull and crossbones. It just says, really, Joel's dad, and it just cheats on you.
Mm-hmm.
Goddess of Explosions. If you pick someone up and you hold the taunt button, You hold them there for like 15 seconds, and if they press a button at all, they break out of it. But you just sit there and then you go, whoa, you jump up and you go down, you explode Saturn and hit them for 999 damage. The fucking fish guy, he has his down special is you can hold it for like 30 minutes, and then you let go and it'll hit everyone on the screen for 1 billion damage. Dumb, stupid shit like that. One other thing before I hand it back to you. The cartoonish proportions of the characters helps sell the physics. It doesn't make much sense in icons to hit someone hard enough that they keep flying away. In a cartoony game, though, you immediately make that connection. This was something I thought of when I watched the GDC video about Breath of the Wild that came out like 3 days before the game released. When they were talking about the art style of the game, they wanted to find a balance between Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. You have a certain expectation if the graphics are too realistic. And if they're too cartoony, then you have to match the like in Breath of the Wild, it's just cartoony enough that I look at a tree and I chop it down and I think, yes, I can float on this log. Like that makes sense. If it was a very realistic game, I might not make that connection. Well, like as I am now, knowing video games for long enough, I would probably make that connection from that point of view. But if the graphics were super realistic, I wouldn't make that logical leap because logically it doesn't actually make sense. The log would like fall down there because everything looks realistic. Everything reacts in a realistic way. There's nothing too wacky. No one's jumping, like no one's doing a triple jump. No one's throwing a fucking dumbbell at 98 miles an hour. The art style sells the mechanics.
Yes, exactly. So what I wanted to say actually was another thing that really works for SlapCity, unlike Icons, is it has more content as well. It has multiplayer modes, a 4-player mode, way more stages. It even has a single-player mode too, and it's getting to story mode soon, apparently, according to them. But another thing that I really find very, very funny is on top of all of this, SlapCity still has melee mechanics, so it can still appeal to the hardcore melee guys.
You can still wave dash.
You can fucking L cancel in it. You can fucking edge hog. You can fucking moonwalk. You can do everything.
It even has a better lobby system.
Yeah, so like Icons, are you even fucking trying? Like the only thing Icons has over fucking SlapCity is it looks better. Like, I as shitty as the bog standard Overwatch cartoony fucking like Fortnite looks on like all these games now. I love you, SlapCity, but visually you look bad. You look like a really like low budget like Kickstarter game. But that's okay, because while it does not win any award visually, audibly, and especially gameplay-wise, they're really fucking solid. I love the little fucking music that plays for everything, or that little intro tune on the main menu, the little lyrics.
Is that in like fucking Vocaloid or something?
No, I think it's just some chick they have singing it.
Because the developers are from Sweden. I think a lot of Swedish game developers seem to have a bit of an oddball sense of humor.
Oh, those Europeans. So there's another thing I wanted to mention, though, about why specifically Icons just on its own isn't really working out all too well, right? So SlapCity is a game that's what, $6.99?
Yeah, it's $7 fucking dollars. I think it's going to be $10 or $15 when it leaves. It is in early. Oh wait, no, Icons is in early access too. Yeah, so both are still in early access.
Yeah, but like SlapCity, as if we're saying this, is $7. And when you get that game, you get all the game modes, you get all the characters, you get all the little costumes and colors and everything. You get all that shit right there, right? When you play Icons, it's a free-to-play game initially, where you have those 3 characters, the Fox, Function, etc., whatever. And you have to unlock the other heroes, or you could buy loot boxes, or you could buy like a $25 version of the game that basically you get all the characters and every character that will ever come out. They're doing the Smite thing. Normally, I like that. But also, normally there is an immediate competition that has more features than you for a third of the price.
The thing, I think this is all a coincidence. I'm almost certain that because SlapCity came out earlier. I think the reason why it became so popular is that it was a lot of people were looking like on Steam for Smash Bros to try and find icons and shit. And then I guess pulled up SlapCity. People saw how shitty icons was doing, and then, oh, what's this game here? This game's pretty high up on the Steam charts. What's this? Oh, this game looks rad. I think that's what happened. I'm almost certain. It also had a big update where they added Business Casual Man, like, pretty soon after icons came out. I don't think they did anything malicious. I think the stars just aligned for them.
Another thing, this is this real long thing that I was watching this video from this YouTuber named King of Sweaty Palms, right? He was bringing up he was trying to make a Smash Brothers like series of analysis and review of every single Smash Brothers game that came out, right? And he actually had to stop that. He made his channel just to do this. He had to stop the channel updates to immediately make the video of why Icon sucks. Because it blew his mind so much that it came out and did so poorly.
Oof.
So, the reason he has a bunch, but the one that really stuck out to me is this thing called, he coined this term, casual competitive play, is what makes the bigwig games the bigwig games.
And by bigwig games, you're talking about your Fortnites, your League of Legends, your Overwatches, right?
Yes, all the top played games in the Steam charts, all the watch games on Twitch. We're talking like, Fort, League of Legends, PUBG, Overwatch, Dota 2's up there. You even got Hearthstone in there. So, casual competitive play is basically like, you can play these games competitively, right? But still keep your casual, like, nature of how you go about it. One of the ways that they keep you in the state of mind he was talking about is they all of these games have one thing in common. They have the mental, the mentality
Excuse.
of the excuse is yes, not my fault. So you've already probably started figuring it out, Tad, because you're a smart guy. Let's say you're playing League. I'm sorry. Your bot lane is sucking. They're losing. They're like 0-3 right now. You're like 2-0 on top lane. You're going to lose this game. No, it wasn't your fault. They just sucked down there. You're playing Fortnite. You drop down. The other guy gets the chest first. Like, you get a chest, he gets a chest, but he has a shotgun. You have a pistol. You die. Oh, well, not my fault. He just got a luckier gun. You get it? You play Hearthstone. He fucking top decks lethal. You die. No, well, not my fault. He just drew better than me. All of these games have that. You queue up into a bad match in Overwatch. You get unlucky in PUBG. Same with Dota 2. All of this has this exact same thing that he actually there's a real term for it when it comes to like the gambling and shit. It's a variable ratio reward schedule. As a weird term as that sounds, that's what they use for slot machines. Is sometimes when you pull the lever you'll win, sometimes you won't. This triggers the human brain more so than any other thing out there in terms of joy, because sometimes you'll get a steal. Sometimes, like the same with opening loot boxes, say for $1, I just got like 2 legendaries. That's like $30. And I only paid $1. Ooh, your fucking brain starts going haywire. You love that shit. And that's why all these games have been so popular for so long.
Yeah, because like even in Team Fortress 2, if I open a crate and I get an unusual, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna sell this for Steam money to eventually just buy more fucking keys. But I'm not thinking that far ahead. And this even works for something like Fate, where you can't trade your characters or anything like that.
No, but you can sell your account because you can just say a transfer code and then just sell it on like eBay or something.
I'm pretty sure they're not supposed to do that though.
Oh, you're not supposed to, but you can. In fact, it's what a lot, like, how they're Chinese, like, gold farmers, and, like, wow, a lot of people, because you get, a free roll. You get one free roll, and then, like, you can get, like, 30 of the fun bucks to do another roll right after the tutorial. So a lot of people, because it's free, it just takes time by just skipping all the dialogue, will just keep rolling until, like, that account gets a 5-star, and then just, like, put it on fucking ransom on eBay or something. Like, people do that shit. That way you can start off for, like, $50, but rather than, hey, you can spend $1 and get a 5-star character, or you could for sure spend $50 to get this one right here for this account. You know what I mean?
That's almost as sad and pathetic as Icons.
Yep, that's just the way the world works, baby. But the reason Icons doesn't work is because it's been released. Okay, so right now the market is this high variance gameplay shit, where you can sometimes win and 9 times out of 10 blame your team. It's not your fault, right? Icons, and most fighting games, but especially Icons right now, is out in a market that doesn't want that kind of game. Because Icons, it's one-on-one fighter only. Not even like other Smash Brothers games where you have the RNG elements like, oh, he got the Smash Ball and I didn't, not my fault, or, oh, the stage hazard killed me, not you, not my fault. You don't even have that. You only have these stupid boring flat stages and these stupid fucking characters. When you die, it's your fault. It is only your fault. And as science suggests, losing feels really, really bad. Losing feels twice as worse as winning feels good, which is why we have the negative bias and we remember negative things more so than positive things, because it really sucks. And that's why no one wants to play this game.
Now, the type of game where it's like, oh, I lost and it wasn't anything RNG, that's a fighting game. That's a market. But your market is melee, specifically melee players.
Yes, and I was just about to get into that. Where fighting games still work because there are still people who want to play that type of game. You won't get super duper big, of course, but, they're popular still in their own way, right? With Icons, you are tackling, you're not trying to get a big market, you're not trying to get a niche market, you're trying to get a niche of a niche market that has already proven they don't want to do anything else. You're literally trying to get a market that doesn't want you. And that's why this game is failing. Because nobody wants this game.
And I genuinely feel bad for the developers. They didn't go out to this to make a shit game. I think they wanted it to be something they could make and try to appeal to melee people, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Now, SlapCity, on the other hand, I'm going to play the fuck out of SlapCity.
Dude, main stage at EVO next year?
Real shit, Alex? That's going to be at EVO. I'm going to play SlapCity at
Oh,
EVO.
so am I,
Try
dude.
that shit on my fucking casual business, man.
Dude, my casual businessman is way better than yours. I got in SlapCity right now, bitch.
We'll settle this in the arena.
It'll be iconic.
So, my name's Tad.
And I'm Alex, I guess.
Yeah, technically you are, Alex.
Huh.
You can find the podcast here on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Twitter, Discord, websites LMTYA.com. There is a Patreon in the description as well. Hench and Homies has started a little side podcast where myself and Alba, and sometimes we'll have a guest on, will watch a few episodes of Kamen Rider. The series we're doing now is Kamen Rider Double, which is like a detective thing. And if you want to listen to a bunch of man children talk about a TV show intended for grade schoolers, then that's your fucking podcast right there. Go play SlapCity. It's very fun. I hope that game gets main stage at EVO. I hope Shovel Knight will probably easily get in there.
Shovel Knight will be at EVO for sure.
Because, or Goku. I hope Goku gets into SlapCity.
Oh, see, when you said Shovel Knight, I thought you meant the game was going to be main stage at EVO. I thought you were making some stupid joke. I had way more confidence in you. I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah. There's actually a fighting game with Shovel Knight in it called Blade Strangers, and wow, that game looks like shit.
Wowzers.
Anyway, I've gotten off topic here. Alex, I'm trying to think of something funny.
Oh, I can think of something funny. Icons Battle Arena.
Ooh, guess I'll keep playing Melee.